Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. These shlokas are recorded by separating the stanza word by word for easy learning. Please share your feedback in the comment. Kindly subscribe and share to others. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Narayaniyam.
Dashakam 91 of the Narayaniyam, titled Greatness of Devotion, that is, Bhakti Mahatvam, is an important chapter that delves deeply into the nature and supremacy of Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion, as the most effective means to attain liberation and overcome worldly suffering. This describes the supreme importance and power of devotion, that is bhakti, towards the Lord. It explains that sincere devotion is the strongest and most effective way to attain the Lord's grace and liberation. The Dashakam highlights that all other paths, rituals, and knowledge ultimately lead to devotion, and through pure love and surrender to the divine, one can overcome all obstacles, sins, and attain eternal bliss and union with God. It emphasizes that devotion is accessible to everyone regardless of caste, knowledge, or status, and is the most cherished quality in the eyes of the Lord. Here's a breakdown of what Dashakam 91 describes. 1. The ultimate refuge in devotion. Bhakti as the sole remedy. The Dashakam begins by asserting that service at Lord Krishna's feet, that is devotion, is the ultimate and only refuge for those afflicted by the threefold miseries of existence and bound by the illusion, that is Maya, of the body. What are those threefold miseries? Adhyatmika dukkha, suffering caused by oneself, the body, and mind. Adi bhautika dukkha, suffering caused by other living beings. Adi daivika dukkha, suffering caused by natural forces or divine agents. Freedom from fear. It emphasizes that through sincere devotion, all forms of fear, including the fear of samsara, the cycle of birth and death, are completely removed. A devotee, even if seemingly lost in delusion, will not stumble on their path if their mind is firmly fixed on the Lord. 2. The nature of true devotion. Surrender of everything. It explains that true devotion involves surrendering all actions, thoughts, words, senses, and even life force to the Lord. Transcendence of social distinctions. The Dashakam powerfully states that a person, even of a low social standing, like a Shvapaka, traditionally considered untouchable, who surrenders completely to the Lord, can purify the whole world. Conversely, a Brahmin, traditionally of high standing, who is indifferent to the Lord's feet, gains no such blessing. This highlights that devotion transcends caste or birth. 3. Overcoming duality and illusion, Maya. Fear from duality. Fear arises from the perception of a second entity, which is a creation of the mind. The ideal is to realize the oneness of everything with Brahman. Bhakti as the antidote to Maya. While intellectual understanding can help control the mind, when the mind is overcome by Maya, that is illusion, it becomes difficult to maintain the sense of oneness. The Dashakam asserts that great devotion to the Lord is the only way to overcome Maya and consequently all fear. 4. The importance of satsang, that is, company of devotees. Cultivating devotion. Just as associating with wealthy people helps one gain wealth, the company of true devotees, those who worship the Lord's feet, is essential for the birth and growth of devotion. Hearing the Lord's glories by constantly associating with such devotees and hearing the glories of the Lord from their mouths, one's devotion becomes strong and all sins are washed away. 5. Characteristics of a true devotee. Singing and rejoicing. A devotee is described as someone who constantly sings the Lord's names and deeds, sometimes laughing with joy, sometimes weeping with emotion, sometimes roaring or dancing. Equanimity. Such a devotee sees the entire universe, including all beings, as the very form of the Lord, transcending all distinctions and finding bliss in this realization. Unwavering focus. The devotee's mind is completely absorbed in the Lord, unaffected by hunger, thirst, or other worldly concerns, and never leaves the Lord's feet. 6. The practicality of devotion in Kali Yuga. Accessibility. It acknowledges that in the Kali Yuga, the current age, intellectual paths to liberation can be difficult. However, devotion is accessible to everyone, regardless of their nature or background. The Lord's grace. The Dashakam conveys that the Lord's grace ensures that even if a devotee stumbles due to illusion, they are guided back to the righteous path. 7. Prayer for complete devotion and relief. As is characteristic of Narayaniyam, Bhattathiri concludes the Dashakam with a heartfelt prayer of Lord Guruvayurappan, expressing his longing for firm devotion, the removal of all his ailments, and the complete realization of the Lord's true nature. In essence, Dashakam 91 is a powerful article on Bhakti Yoga, establishing it as the supreme and most accessible path to salvation, emphasizing pure surrender, the transformative power of divine association, and the profound joy experienced by true devotees.